Oh.
Sorry. Five, four. Blooper part four.
Right?
Yes, go faster. She looking good, y'all. She is your queen.
To be.
To be.
It's always so much fun. Hi, it's Kim, and I'm back for another episode of 10-Minute Tips for Your Relationships. Just 10 minutes. So, this week, I want to talk about how do you know if you are in a healthy relationship? Get your coffee or your tea, sit back and relax, and join me for this episode of 10-Minute Tips. Hi, it's Kim, and I'm back for another week of 10-Minute Tips for Your Relationships. 10 minutes. So, this week, I'm really excited about this episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about how do you know if you are in a healthy relationship, right? Because, we can be in a relationship, we can be connected to someone, we can be a partner with someone, but how do we know that that relationship is healthy? How do we know if that relationship is beneficial to you as an individual? So, my question is, what are the dynamics of your relationship? I mean, what does your relationship really look like? What does it look like behind closed doors, not just when you are in public? Well, I have a few questions that I want to ask and a few things I want to share. Number one, does your relationship have what I call TTT? Does it have that tried and true trust? Yes, because trust is extremely important in a relationship. Yes, trust is just as important as all the other aspects. So, how do we develop a trust in a relationship? I mean, not just trust, but a tried, a true, and a tested type of trust based on how we treat each other. Yes, a tried and true trust is really developed by the trials that we go through, the trials and tribulations of a relationship, and most of all, the restoration of some of the things that we're going through in our relationships. Yes, tried and true trust is developed when we go through it and then we come back and we get restored through that situation. Tried and true trust also has a lot to do with being dependable and reliable. Yes, hey, if you're in a relationship with someone and you tell them that you're going to do something or you're going to be somewhere, then guess what? You should be a person of your word. Because how can a person trust you if you're not keeping your word with them? So, tried and true trust is very important as it relates to being dependable and reliable. And then, tried and true trust is also related to a level of comfort that you and your spouse have, a level of comfort and a level of security that is in the relationship. So, number one was tried and true trust. But number two is RESPECT. You know what that is? Respect. And respect should be mutual in a relationship. Yes, you should have respect for your partner, and your partner should have respect for you. You should give respect as well as want to receive respect. Now, there's some uh, lessons that my husband and I we talk to our couples about, and it talks about respect, love and respect. You know, there's a book called Love and Respect, and we do a lot of teaching out of that book. And it talks about how women really, their biggest need is love, whereas a man needs respect. Well, that's true, but at the same time, there should also be a level of, or a mutual level of respect that we give each other in the relationship. So, number 2, respect. Number 3 is giving support. How do you support your spouse? I mean, really, do they feel supported by you? What happens when you go to your family's home and they have something negative to say about your spouse? Do you just stand there and take it or join in the fun? Or do you hold their back? Do you have their back? Do you support them in that? Do you know you stand up for your spouse? How do you support them in their business? How do you support them in their extracurricular activities? How do you support your spouse, with your children? Are we taking the children's side and not supporting the spouse? Are we not coming together, supporting one another? Support is very important in a healthy relationship. So make sure you support your spouse. Now, this one I love. The ability to be hot. H-O-T. Honest, open, and transparent. Yes, this is very important in a healthy relationship. Because if I'm able to be hot, honest, open, and transparent with you, that means that it's safe for me to disclose my weaknesses. I can share some of my weaknesses with you. You're not going to hold those against me. That I can just be myself. I don't have to hide parts of myself from you. I can just be open and I can be honest. I can share differences with you and not feel intimidated or not feel threatened by your response. And I like this one because it's all about being respectful, about having healthy boundaries. Yes, being hot, honest, open, and transparent, you have to have proper boundaries in the relationship. And you know what? You got to have proper boundaries with others who are outside of your relationship. My husband and I were having a conversation today, and we were talking about how important it is that we have developed really good boundaries as it relates to other people outside of our relationship. We know just how far to go with people, and we know what things not to entertain. So if you're going to have a hot relationship, you got to have good boundaries. Number 5. I like number 5 because I kind of grew up on this one, and that is maintaining your autonomy. Yes, I've shared with you before that when my husband and I first got married, man, I did not have contact with any of my friends, but he had all his friends. And you know what? That was something that I had to learn to do. I had to learn how to operate outside of him. But it's important that you operate outside of your spouse. You have some autonomy, you have some separateness, you have some things that interest you alone, without ruining the relationship. So that's very important, having autonomy. That's how you know the relationship is healthy. Yeah, I'm not checking up on you all the time. You're not checking up on me. I'm not following you everywhere you go, and you're not following me. Number 6, having the ability to express your feelings and your needs. Yes, oh my God, that is so important. And being able to do this in the relationship without judgment. We had a very hot conversation this morning, my husband and I, and guess what? We expressed our needs, we expressed some dissatisfaction with something, and nobody was mad. So you don't have to be mad when you're sharing your feelings and your needs. If we're respecting one another, having those good old hot conversations, then we can share our needs and our feelings, and guess what? Get those needs met in the relationship. Number 7, do you talk about your hopes and your dreams? Do you plan things together? Do you look into the future and see yourselves where you're going to be in 5 years and 10 years. Hopefully, you're hoping and you're dreaming together. And number 7, talk about your hopes, your fears, your dreams. Talk about it often and talk about it together. I just love it when my husband and I sit down and we just start planning for the future. Yeah, we've been married 35 years. And so, there's a lot of things, that we've done already, and there's still things that we want to accomplish. There's some fears that we have, and we talk about it together so that we know what page each one is on. So talk about those things. These are the things that make for a healthy relationship. Number 8. Number 8 is the fun part. And number 8 can get tricky too. But number 8 is having an enjoyable mutual sex life. Yes, it's got to be enjoyable for both. It can't just be enjoyable for one person. And those are things that you have to talk about. You have to communicate when it comes to having an enjoyable, loving, intimate sex life. A sex life that is wonderful for the both of you. So, number 8, yes, get it ramped up. Do something different. Go somewhere different. Do it somewhere different. But that's a part of a healthy relationship. And number 9, intimacy. Yes, intimacy is so important. And our next episode is going to talk about intimacy. But intimacy is when I can show and I can receive affection. It's not always related to sex, but it's related to being able to get into the deeper parts of a person, the parts of a person that are really very private. When a person lets you in that door, then you know that you have an intimate relationship. And then number 10, yes, we got to do this. We're going to end on this one. We got to forgive easily and apologize often. It's so important that we do this. I remember early on in my marriage where I didn't really want to apologize too often, and I really didn't want to forgive too easily. But it's impossible to have a healthy relationship when we're holding things against one another. Look, you have to value the relationship more than your own needs. You have to value the relationship more than your own pride. And you have to value this relationship more than your own need to win. It's important. We're going to have a healthy relationship. There are things that we have to do. We talked about working. We talked about giving. We talked about all these different things, and we have to do these things and be consistent. Yes, a healthy relationship will take you from year 1 to year 50. These are my 10-minute tips. Take care and stay safe.